I would like to begin by paying my respects to the Wurundjeri people, to the traditional custodians of this land where we are meeting upon today, for its elders and past and present, and even especially for the people with an intellectual disability of those self-advocacy groups as well. Thank you.
Welcome to 3CR, Raising Our Voices, 8:55 a.m. on the dial. Today we're talking to Jane Rosengrave, and later we'll get James Teekan on the phone. We're discussing moving into independent living. So that's moving from shared supported accommodation into independent living for people with disabilities. And Jane, you've got a lot of experience. Your life has been full of experience of this type. Do you want to tell the listeners?
I
Okay.
will. Going way back in the 80s, after I left the institution, we went into a house which was called, in Seaby Street, which was called a CRU. And that was after from the hostel, from the institution, but we were still connected to the institution we were, because we had to ride our bikes down to the work education centre, and we still were connected to the staff down there, because they came up each day to make sure that we did our jobs properly. I can remember one time that when I was having fits as well, when I was walking to the milk bar, and I had an epileptic fit in the main street, I did, but the people who I knew, because I was working on the roads, that they rang up Pleasant Creek and they had to come and take me back down to the institution to stay there for a week or two after I had the fit. Because the CRUs, there was no staff staying there overnight.
Right. So the CRU, Community Residential Unit.
Yes.
So that was like a place that had staff during the day but not during the night time.
That's
and
right.
You had to go back to...
Yeah, I had to go back to Senior Girls and stay there for 2 or 3 weeks.
You were quite unwell after the fit?
No, I wasn't. It was just because I had epileptic fits, which I was...
Okay.
You know. And my punishment was, because I had it in the main street in town, that no one was there, but the workers are the ones that had to take me back to the Seaby Street, and us people that were living there with me had to ring up the staff from Pleasant Creek, and they came down and picked me up, and I had to stay down in Senior Girls for 3 weeks for it.
So Jane, you were living in the CRU, Community Residential Unit.
Yeah.
And then you were living with your partner for a while?
This was after I left Stawell. But while I was in Stawell, I was living in Seaby Street. We stayed there for about 3 years, we did, with the people from Pleasant Creek. And then after that, we found out that Seaby Street was getting sold to someone else, and we had to all go back down to Pleasant Creek in the hostel and stay there until there was another place vacant in the town, which there was, and it was in Holt Street this time. But it was a ex-staff member that had that house, and she sold it to the government, and then she just lived next door, built a house next door to where we were living, so she can keep an eye on us after hours when there was no staff there. And then after that, I stayed there for about probably a year or 18 months in that house, and then we had to that's when the staff came up to us and said we had to find our own place without no help, and that was our own flat in this town. And I stayed there for about 2 years, and then that's when me and my partner started going together, and that's when I started moving. I went and left Stawell, came to Melbourne, and I lived with him for about 12 years. And there was I was having epileptic fits at the time, and there was a lot of domestic violence that went on, which I had to not tell anybody. And we were in a private house, which was paying high rent in those days.
Private rental.
Yeah, private rental. And then when that time came, I had a brain surgery in 2004. And then after that, I started going to Melbourne to reinforce a lot which is a self-advocacy organisation that's for people with an intellectual disability, that stands up for your rights, and we fight our rights as well and demand the government to close these institutions down and have people with a disability to have their voice heard. And then after that, that's when I put up with it for about 9 years after the brain surgery, and then I gave him 3 warnings. And then after that, I had nowhere to go after I left him. I did. And I went and stayed at a friend's place for 2 weeks, and then they flew me up to the top because I was Aboriginal and because I was brought up in an institution.
You mean the priority list?
Yeah, the priority list. And because I had no connection to my family as well. So I was under the Sacred Heart Mission in St Kilda. Stayed there for... refuge. Yeah, it's like a refuge thing where people can't tell you where to go. You know, I mean, not where to go, but...
Well, it's a safe place, so you're away from violence.
That's right, yeah, when you've been through a domestic violence. And I stayed there for about 6 months, 7 months. And then after that, once there was another little vacant where you can just stay for a month,
transitional.
Yeah. Okay, once the vacancy came up in Melbourne, that's when they just asked me would I like to have a look, and I said yes, definitely. So I decided to take that position in Melbourne, and ever since I've lived there, I am free as a bird.
Wonderful.
My health's been a lot better. I've not been under stress. I haven't, and I've not been under pressure. I don't need to depend on anyone, and I'll be staying this way until the day I die.
You've been through some tough times, Jane.
Definitely I have, yes.
I'm so glad that you're living in a place now that is a place you can call your home. You're on your own, and you can stay there until the end of your life.
Yeah,
choose to.
And I'm a free as a bird, and I can fly around and lay eggs. And
I love it when you say that.
You need to have a bit of a laugh on this 3CR radio for people to have a laugh at.
Exactly, you do. So you're not sharing with anyone else, and you're living on your own.
Yes.
That must be so different from what you were used to.
Oh, definitely, because it was at the age of 50 that I left him, and I said to myself, because there was 2 opportunities that they asked me if I'd like to go under the high rises of the part for the Aboriginals, or if I want to go under the wintering home, and I chose the wintering home.
It's good that you were given a choice, at least for where you wanted to live.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's important.
It is very important. And ever since I have left, my health has got a lot better, and I don't need to depend on anyone else now. I'm just my own life, my own person, and I can just please myself when I want to go, where I want to go. If I want to go on a holiday, I can. And all this, so I don't need to depend on anyone else.
So who does your grocery shopping?
Myself, actually. If I go myself, and I'm not that far from a supermarket, which I can just go for a walk and please myself when I want to, and I even sometimes go down to the homeless for a meal because they've accepted me there.
That's lovely.
As well.
When you feel like it, you can do your own cooking?
Yes, I can do my own cooking. I can
do your own cleaning?
Yep, and we share the laundry, and I can please myself when I want to do washing. I can stay up all night if I want to and watch the cricket, which I have done, actually. Yeah, because I love the cricket.
It's on at the moment, right?
Yeah, and this Thursday coming is the last test, but the Aussies have won. They have, which is great. And, I do stay up late, but sometimes I sleep. Sometimes most of the day if I do stay up late.
Well, I do that too. If I stay up late at night, I'll sleep in.
Well, put it this way. I see that you only live once. Yeah. Get under the ground a lot longer than what you are alive, so you might as well be free as a bird.
And the thing is that when you're living independently, you've got your freedom.
Yeah.
You can choose your hours. You can
That's
choose
right.
all of your activities. You can choose what you're doing.
And that's why I'm saying free as a bird, because you can choose
Yeah.
where you want to go.
So what about if you need help? Can you get help?
Yeah. There's people who they've got workers that come and check up on them once or twice a month just to see how things are going, and we go out for a cuppa and we just fill them in on what we've been doing and all this. And we even if we have to go to the doctors or get our for women, when we go for a breast screening or that, and we ask them to come along because sometimes the people, they speak jargon, and it's hard to understand when they speak the long words, so that's another reason why we have our workers coming with us.
Sounds good to me.
Definitely.
So if you're at home and you're on your own and you get stuck with something, can you call someone?
Well, that has happened actually to me because it's been on a weekend where I was sick and I was run down and I had the diarrhea and all this, and then I asked one of the other housemates who lives where I am if they can ring an ambulance for me, which they did, and then the ambulance came, and then I went to the hospital, stayed there for about 4 hours because of what happened. And then they gave me a taxi voucher back to go home, but just to stay home and rest. And then the other people that were living there were just checking up on me. And
That's really kind.
On Monday, they told the people who were looking after us, the staff, and then the staff came and checked to see how we're all going.
Okay. That's really important.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We've got another person, James Teekan. I'm wondering if we can get him on the phone to have a bit of a chat about moving into his own place.
Yep. That'd be grouse.
You're listening to 3CR, 8:55 AM Community Radio, Raising Our Voices. And we're going to a song, Accidentally Kelly Street by Frente. You're listening to 3CR, 8:55 AM Community Radio, Raising Our Voices. We were just listening to Accidentally Kelly Street by Frente, and we have James Teekan on the line. Hi, James. How are you today?
I'm very well and fantastic. Great.
Excellent.
To hear from you. guys.
I'm Bronwyn Trickett. I'm here with Jane Rosengrave. We wanted to talk to you about moving into your own place from supported accommodation.
Oh, yes. I have been living independently since since I started the support package.
Okay, so you were in supported accommodation a while ago.
Yes, a while ago, yeah.
You're living on your own. You've got your own apartment?
Yes, got my own apartment, live on my own. I was sharing with a flatmate, but he decided to move out.
Okay.
And then I took over from him. But I've been here since he moved out.
So you like living on your own? I mean, it's better than shared accommodation.
It's better than shared accommodation because you get to go out, come home anytime you like. You get to go to sleep anytime you like. You get to eat your own dinner anytime you like. You can go to the library anytime you like in the morning or afternoon. You can go out for breakfast somewhere any time of the morning or afternoon or night. You can go out for dinner. If I wanted to go out for dinner, I would go out for dinner if I wanted to, but that's my choice.
So it's a sense of freedom, and that's exactly what Jane was talking about as well, being able to do whatever you like, whenever you like.
It's a sense of freedom. It's going out somewhere, going to have drinks with friends or socialising with friends or family friends or socialising with people that you know.
And when you're in shared supported accommodation, that's something you've got regimented times. You need to do things. There's meals prepared at certain times. Did you have a key to your own place when you lived?
I have a key to my own place. I have a key to my own letterbox. I check my mail. I check my mail every day, but I go to appointments. I go to my own appointments. I ring and make my own appointments with my own doctor. I go to St. Vincent's Hospital for appointments sometimes.
And you were in hospital for a while, James?
Yes, I was in hospital for a long time, actually.
And you've been able to move back home out of hospital?
Yes.
And you're doing okay?
I'm glad I'm out of hospital because I didn't like the way I was treated in hospital.
What happened, James?
I was treated shit in hospital, and I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to go to meetings at Ross House.
Okay.
Wasn't allowed to go to the focus meetings.
So you didn't have your freedom again. It was away from you. You didn't.
My freedom was stolen.
Was that because of your medical condition? I mean, sometimes.
Yes, I had to check with the doctor if I could go out to but now, ever since I've been out of hospital, I go to the MIDA meeting sometimes.
You're on the MIDA committee.
I'm on the MIDA committee. I'm on the SARU management committee as well. I'm on every committee that I know.
So,
and I'm part of Raising Our Voices committee.
Yes, of course you are. And you do your own grocery shopping and you do your own cooking and cleaning.
I get people to come out to do some cleaning for me.
Okay.
Especially
after hospital, you'd have a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I have trouble getting. I mean, I shower myself in the morning. I get myself dressed in the morning, but with shoes and socks, I get help with shoes and socks because I can't bend my right knee at the moment.
Yep, you're still recovering.
Still recovering with my right knee, but I do exercises in the morning and afternoon. But I enjoy living independently because I get my own freedom. I get to go to appointments at my doctor's. I go to St. Vincent's Hospital for I've got a CT scan coming up soon in November, I think.
Okay.
I occasionally go out for coffee by myself. I occasionally do small shops, but I haven't started work yet because of the foot brace that I've got on my leg, on my foot, I should say.
And James, what's the organisation that you're under where you're living, and do you have, like, if you want to go on a holiday, do you go in a group or do you go on your own?
I mainly go with the group, a holiday group, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I organise my own holiday. I choose the holidays that I want, and then I just make a phone call to the holiday company, and then I just say I'm interested in this holiday. Can you put my name down on the list?
Ah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and then I ring my NDIS people to say I'm interested in the holiday. Can they pay for half of it, for a quarter half, and then the other half would come from state trustees, I think.
Oh, that's good then. Yes, because I'm trying to go under the NDIS well, so I can go for a holiday somewhere, and that's why I've asked you.
Yeah, but it just depends on your package that you've got with the NDIS, actually.
Yeah.
So, James, when you're on your own at home, if you get stuck with something, can you call someone?
If I get stuck where?
Like if you've got a problem that you can't solve or you're not sure what to do.
And if it's on the weekend?
Depends where I am on the weekend, actually.
Fair enough. I suppose it's the question I was getting at is if you're living on your own, do you have help?
I would call nurse on call or something.
If it's something medical, yeah, for sure.
I would speak to my doctor for medical help.
Sure. Yep.
I would speak to if I had a bad fall in the shower, I would call for help.
That's it.
Or call for an ambulance if I had a bad fall.
That's it.
Or call 000 and then speak to whoever.
That's a really good idea.
Ring everyone that knows me, like my girlfriend, my sister, my cousin, or a family member that knows me.
That sounds great. So I suppose would you say to people who are still living in supported accommodation and are thinking about living on their own, would you say that it's definitely something?
I would highly recommend that the person that wants to give a go living independently to give it a go and see if they like it, and if they like living in, if they want to live out of their shared accommodation, they would have to speak to whoever is in charge of them, or speak to your DHS officer, I think.
Yeah, depending on where they're living, where the person is living.
Yeah, depending where you're living, you'd have to ring up the Department of Health and Services, I think.
Health and Human Services, yes, or speak to a family member or somebody close.
Or speak to a family member, or speak to your house supervisor of the shared house that you're living at.
Jane, would you recommend to people that it's a good idea to live on your own?
Oh, definitely, I reckon, because you can please yourself what you want to do, and you can please yourself where you want to go and all this, and you don't have to ask the staff saying, oh,
No.
I'm going over to there for about 2 hours to see my friend, and if the staff say, no, you can't, then you don't have a choice when you're in the CRU. You know, you've got other people there, but when you're in a flat on your own, you can please yourself what you want to do. You don't have to depend on anyone else, and that's the best.
True, yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that occasionally.
Yeah, and that's the best thing, and it's better for your health too, I reckon. You know.
Yeah. I get out. I get out and about. I go to. I get out and visit friends. I stay at friends' places. Like, I have people over. I have people over at my place to visit me. I speak to my cousin on the phone. I get messages. From my cousin saying good morning and saying good afternoon. People ask me how my day's been, and I say my day's been very good. I say my day's been excellent. I explain how my day's been to a person that's asking me a question. If they want anything further from me, I would let them know.
Yes.
That's it.
But if I'm busy, I won't answer my calls.
Fair enough. Well, you can go to Message Bank and you can get back to people a bit later on.
Yeah, but you've got to listen to you've got to go to your voice messages on your phone, and then you've got to delete all your messages on your phone.
Yes.
Which is hard because sometimes I get 40 messages, and then you've got to delete all 40 messages.
So, Jane, is there anything else that you would comment about having your own place now, and perhaps somebody who's considering that?
Well, like when you've got your own place, you can please yourself what you want to put up on the wall, and you know,
decorate your
decorate your own place, and if you want lino, you can have lino. If you want carpet, you can have carpet. But you know, as long as you're happy where you are, and that, because I know I'm happy where I am, and I will not ever be moving from where I am, because I'll be staying there until the day I bloody die.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I could choose my own holiday. I can choose which holiday group I want to go with. Like, there are different places you can call for holiday groups, and it will come up with their phone number and their contact number, and their then you can contact them, or you can email them.
Where are you finding them, James? You're looking them up
on Google.
Yep.
Or different organisations as well.
Organisations, yeah.
So
you can ask Google, or you can ask Google Assistant, or you can go to your local holiday place.
Thank you so much, James, for coming on the phone and talking to us about moving into your own place.
Thank you very much for calling me up, and hopefully everyone understands how I chose to live independently, and I'm happy living independently. And I would like more people. I would like to get more people out there trying to live independently by themselves.
Yes, and thank you, Jane, very much for coming along. You're listening to 3CR 8:55 AM Community Radio, Raising Our Voices. Thank you very much, James.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Is not a sin. All the housework's done by tea time. I'm feeling good about the way I've been. Perhaps it's optimism that crashed on down like a house of cards. I know that my decision
You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.